Tapor. The dude just has a cool ass name. Let's be honest. Has a cool ass name. He's got cool tattoos. I mean, look at that artwork. I mean, UFC is pushing him for a reason. Obviously, he's winning fights. That's what happens when you win fights. You get that Dana White privilege. He's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's faced a lot of jiu-jitsu artists. He's been tested. He was kicked in the head. As far as his cardio and everything else goes, I mean, that has yet to be seen. But he definitely has heart. He has will. He has determination. He has power. He has skill. Jiu-jitsu, wrestling. I've seen clips of this fight, but I still haven't seen the fight. I mean, the fight ended pretty quickly, but yes. I mean, let's kind of break down his fighting style honestly and see what he really brings to the table to Volkanovski. One thing I can point out, I haven't seen a lot of his fights, is that his footwork. I'm just gonna go down this real quick. It's very obvious. Fighters that plant their feet are more likely to have more knockouts on their record than fighters who move their feet a lot. Volkanovski, I would like to say he's a volume fighter. Max Holloway, a volume fighter. You never see them one flush knock out somebody like stiff Conor McGregor, Anthony Rumble Johnson. People like that, they plant their feet. I'm more of a fan of the fighter who don't plant their feet, although they don't get the knockout, but it's better. It's just better. Same thing with Demetrius Johnson, always moving, always switching their feet. Why would you ever want to be in the same spot? Wouldn't you want to shift, change feet directions to trick your opponent, to not be here, not be there, always in and out, not really having a rhythm but having a rhythm? So I'm a fan of that. Even though you're not going to get the flush knockout, you'll probably get more of a TKO sort of victory, which is what they normally get. Fighters like that like to move their feet in and out, always moving, they'll get more of a TKO more than a knockout. Ilia Topuria, he's a knockout artist. He doesn't move his feet a lot from what I've seen, but he puts people away. He brutalizes people. Planting your feet generates energy up into your body, such and so forth. Science. I mean, people that know this, that fight, know this. But like I said, I mean, it's not the best when you're fighting somebody that likes to move their feet. Good chin, good cardio. Eventually they end up breaking a fighter like that down. But with that being said, I wouldn't count Ilia Topuria out. He's a good fighter and he definitely has a chance to win. All it takes is one. Volkanovski, I believe he's been dropped. He's been dropped a few times. Max Holloway kicked him in the head, dropped him. Chad Mendes dropped him, but he's never been put out. He's never been put away. His will, determination. And I will also say this. It is possible to train hard and have good cardio. It is. You know, TJ Dillashaw and a few other fighters have ruined that with the EPO allegations and EPO sort of thing. I'm not putting nothing out there, but you know, it's a thing. It's a thing, and we'll never know who truly takes them. Like I said, you can train your cardio, you can train everything to where you can have a good poker face even if you are tired. But training MMA in general, you'll have the cardio without being tired. But let's take a look at this fight. I'm gonna watch the video on mute. And let's see where this gets us here. See, very flat-footed, which is nothing wrong with that because you can generate power when you lift your feet up like that, you know. Oh, damn, nice leg kick. Bryce Mitchell is like, his job is kind of to work out in a sense. He's like a farmer. I hope my talking isn't distracting you from the video, but nice takedown defense. Bryce Mitchell is supposed to be this like super grappler, cowboy, farmer guy who throws hay all around, and that's cool, you know. And I'm pretty sure, hopefully, he trains mixed martial arts in between somewhere like that. He looks pretty small though, but you know that doesn't really matter as long as looks can be deceiving. Not trying to shade him, very boy body, but probably strong. Nice jabs by Bryce Mitchell to keep Ilia at a distance. I mean, this fight right here kind of shows a lot of holes that he would have against fighters that move their feet a lot. I mean, just the jab alone, seeing how he's kind of moving forward, that they're not landing flush. Obviously, he's looking for the KO shot, but he's too slow for Max. But can he catch Volk? There's a reason why Volk said do not fight Max Holloway. They're not. He's undefeated now. Max Holloway is a different level. We've never seen Ilias cardio like that, but your cardio doesn't matter when you're getting pieced up to the body and head from max pressure and everything else that he brings to the table. But Ilia does have some nice leg kicks, which Volkanovski in their first fight shown to be effective. But anyways, let's see. I'm not going to pause it anymore. I might just talk in between though. Moving a lot is just hard to read. It's hard to time. Especially when you add switching in stances in there too. It's hard to gauge that. Ooh. See, that's the problem. Ilia is only effective if you stand still, if you're in his face. But if you're moving, jabbing, sticking, switching stances, which is what both Max Holloway and Volk do very well, then he won't catch you. That's his bread and butter, his knockout power. And if he doesn't have that, if he can't corner you off, not many people have tried to corner off Dominic Cruz, and he just dances around them the whole time. They try to look for that one shot. If you can find a rhythm, if you can find a hole in the rhythm, that's not good. Hit with the 1-2. Like somebody like Dominic Cruz will probably give him troubles. People that like to cut off corners and pray and stuff. It's good. It's only good if you can read the movements. If the fighter comes in like any of the other fights, because you can only change so much. You can only change so much in fights. So far, good takedown defense. You can only change so much. There's only so many stances, directions, and ways you can fight. And out of the 4 or 5 or how many different ways you come out to a fight, you're gonna show one of those. And as long as you've trained each of those stances and positions and you've seen them, and you can read which one is gonna come at a certain time, you have a good chance of catching somebody while they're always moving around, where they're shifting and changing stances. I mean, Demetrius Johnson does it very, very well, so nobody's able to read him or catch him. He does it well. I mean, but if you do your homework enough, even John Jones has trouble with fighters like that, like I've stated before. Fighters that are unpredictable, throwing wild punches, moving a lot. Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, Alexander Gustafsson, all fighters who move, throw a lot. Okay. I mean, we can't be mad at it. I mean, but yeah, Ilia, honestly, any fighter outside of Anthony Rumble Johnson that doesn't move or have moved their feet a lot, should probably think about moving more instead of planting their feet to throw bombs. It's just more effective, man. It's more effective, but you have to have the cardio for it. That's the problem. You got to train it. You can train it. You can train your body. But when you found the thing about it is the BJ Penn problem. Is the BJ Penn problem. When you're so effective and it's worked in many fights and you lose 1 or 2, it's like, well, I mean, I still beat other people and top class fighters with this particular fighting style. It's hard to change that. It's hard to break that code. It's a Tony Ferguson thing too. I know he trains jiu-jitsu, Tony Ferguson. He trains cardio and strength and conditioning and stuff, but you know, there was a hole in his game, wrestling. At the highest level, the details, the training, the discipline, it all matters. I think Tony Ferguson is probably one of the most disciplined people in the game, but if you don't believe leg strength matters and things like that, because most jiu-jitsu artists, you know, they're not, their leg training is the jiu-jitsu. Oh, let me skip this. Ooh, ooh. Okay, he's moving a little bit more. Very boxer stance. Very tight guard and defense. Chin tucked. Ooh. And see, now Bryce is not moving as much. Yeah, it works for people if they get tired. Yeah, he has 5 rounds if he fights Volk. He has 5 rounds to find either the hole or Volk to potentially get tired or slow down, but we know that's not gonna happen. Same with Max. It's not gonna happen. Like, yeah, back to the BJ Penn thing. Changing your fighting style. He's found success. He's knocked out people. He's won fights. He's undefeated. So why change anything? If it's not broke, don't fix it. But hopefully, you know, everybody needs a loss on their record to learn. To truly learn what needs to be changed. And I mean, there's only so many fighters that have learned after a loss. Some people just go on a losing streak. Charles Oliveira came back. He learned. There are fighters that can learn and change their fighting style, the way they train, what they need to work on. There's fighters that can make those adjustments and come back stronger and win fights. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And that pocket. I don't think he's going to catch Volk in that pocket, though. That's the thing. I don't think so. Volk moves too much. He has to catch him while he's in. But the thing about it is, Volk's head is never in boxing range for the most part. He'll throw a jab and he'll counter when you move in. Volk will counter when you move in. He'll throw a jab, throw a leg kick, and then when you move in, he'll hit you with a 1-2. And then when he sees you're hurt or sees something, he has to play possum. That's how you beat Volk. You got to play possum. You can't. You're gonna have to trick him. The same way Adesanya tricked Alex Pereira. You're gonna have to trick Volk. That's how Ilia wins this. Forward pressure and everything like that is fine if Volk's head is in boxing range, but like you see there, like he countered. Wow. Oh shoot. Ragdolling that boy. Nice. Neon belly. Try to pass over, but his feet too close to the cage. Ground and pound. Little sprawls. Turn to the back. Nice. Oh. Yeah, he's just getting. Oh, I mean, he's in a bad position. Tapped. Wow. I don't know. I feel like he kind of gave up. It wasn't tight. Same thing with the Charles Oliveira choke with Islam Makhachev. It's just kind of like it just mentally broke. Some people, this game is not for the weak. If you're a pretty boy, you're worried about getting cuts and scar tissues, looking like Vanderlei Silva and all the other stuff. This ain't it for you. So if you're worried about, oh, my nose, I got to get this changed and I got to get this surgery and all this other stuff. Dang, how is this going to look? And if you're worried about that stuff, the fight game is not for you. You're going to have to be prepared for rearrangements of either your nose, cuts on the face, scar tissues appearing. It's just the game, man. It's the game. That's the sacrifice. If you ever end up in those sort of wars. But that's not the plan. End up in wars or have these things. It's just, it could happen though. He tapped pretty quickly though. Like there's no way the choke was that tight. Like he didn't even circle or anything. But he was probably already gassed from all the pressure of Ilia. I mean, he's good. Ilia is good. As long as he can dictate what's going on for the most part, he's good. But 100%, if he plays possum against Volk, gets him to play his, you have to get him to play his game. You don't need to prove anything. The same way, who was the guy that was trying to prove, the last guy that Justin Gagey fought, I think, the kickboxer dude, the Tiger Muay Thai guy, I forgot his name, with the beard. He was trying to prove something. He wanted to be in a war. He wanted to be in this fight. He wanted to prove that he was a tougher guy, that he was more warlike, more savage, the BMF. He wanted to prove something. Instead of fighting how he fights, technically striking and things like that, he wanted to get into a war, a bloodfest. And that was the wrong approach in that fight. You don't have to do these things. Because you know what Justin Gagey does? He's not the same Justin Gagey. And I will talk about who will win that fight against Dustin Poirier and Justin Gagey. But yeah, you don't need to prove that. And like I said, Justin Gagey doesn't fight the same way he used to fight. He doesn't cover up. He doesn't exchange in these super brawls. He will engage when he needs to. He stays at a distance. Gagey knows this is his last run. He's beat almost everybody. Same with Dustin Poirier. He's beat almost everybody. I think Dustin Poirier will stay in it a little bit longer, but I feel like Justin Gagey put so much into it as far as training, preparing, and things like that, that if he doesn't get it this time around, I don't think he will go back to fight opponents he's already fought and beat, like knocked out for the most part too. I don't think he will go back to wanting to do that. I mean, he might move down, he might move up, but from what I heard, it seems like he's just kind of, he might call it quits. But yeah, right now I have Volk, but game plans are a thing. Game planning is a thing, but everybody has a game plan till they get punched in the face, right? But Ilia can take a punch. He can take a punch. As long as nothing freakish happens, like he gets a swollen eye socket or whatever that closes one of his eyes, or like a huge gash on his head that stops him from seeing, or it just looks bad, like it might get infectious, he has a chance of winning. I hate stuff like that, but it happens. It's the fight game. So yeah, that in and out movement and switching stances and jabs, you can't play that. You can't play that game with Volk. You just can't. He's gonna have to play bait. He's gonna have to play possum. He's gonna have to move back a little bit to get him to exchange in the pocket in boxing range, because Volk is never in boxing range. Demetrius is in boxing range because he likes to wrestle. He likes to get underneath and move his feet and get down and take people down. So that's why he's in boxing range. When he does what he wants to. Demetrius does what he wants to. He'll stay in boxing range. He'll kick the legs if he wants to. He'll circle around. He'll switch stances. He does whatever he wants to in there. Max Holloway always in boxing range. Boxing range is more of like your body's kind of hunched over, instead of like having your body more back in like a karate stance so your face doesn't get hit. But you know, but I mean, Max has to do that because he's taller than most of the fighters in that division. These are just my thoughts though, but yeah, I mean, Max is not easy to hit either though. At the same time, he did I say Max Holloway switches stances and moves his feet a lot? I didn't mean to say that. He doesn't do that. He just has very good volume with his hands and head movement for the most part, if you let him dictate the pace. Why doesn't he have knockout power if his feet are planted? He just ain't got it. He ain't got it. He likes to, slowly piece you up and then break you down. He throws hard punches, of course, but you've never seen a Max Holloway flush clean knockout before. So yeah, Ilia has some things to change up. He has some things to change up for sure. Right now, I think Max beats him and I think Volk beats him, but Max is beatable, as we've seen. He's not going to beat him the way Dustin Poirier beat him because he's not as tall or as big as Dustin Poirier. and nor does he have the volume striking that Dustin Poirier has to challenge Max in that department. He would have to play the similar game that Volk does, because they're the similar size and stature. He would have to play that game, and his cardio is gonna have to be there, because it's not gonna be easy. Max is not going down, and he's not going out. You're not knocking Max Holloway out, brother. Yeah, you're not. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. He has a chance of winning. I wouldn't count him out. If he does lose, hopefully he learns something from it, and he comes back better. That's the rub when you fight a great fighter. That's the rub that you get. But it is also good. You need to know your strength and weaknesses as a fighter. Who are you as a fighter? Do you want to be a knockout artist? Do you want to be somebody who doesn't get hit or touched? We'd seen these fighters before. The fighters are always moving. The fighters that are always throwing volume and stuff like that, countering. They don't have the most they have TKOs, yeah, but not flush knockouts. Floyd Mayweather is another good example of that. We've seen it before. It's effective. The hit not get hit. Dominic Cruz, another good example of that. The hit not get hit. And it works if you have the cardio for it. If you have the IQ for it. More fighters are starting to be that, but you got to decide, are you the jiu-jitsu artist with good hands? You can be it. You can be all of it. You can. But the moving the feet, the defensive style, the counter punches, that's just more effective for longevity on one hand and strategically in fighting, because you just never know. You can get caught at any moment in between exchanges. But yeah, who y'all think? I mean, I already know what y'all think.